Okay, everybody, hello. Good evening. Welcome to the 2024 September Raleigh Astronomy Club imaging meeting. And so tonight, what we're going to talk about is a continuation of the last meeting. There's only three in this series, so this is the second part, where we're just going to take a look at what is possible with our imaging setups and at different sets of focal lengths. So we got three different sets. Last time we went from if a focal length of zero exists, but 0 to 200. And now we're doing, you want to do something between 200 and 300, that's fine. But what I advertise is now we're going to look at images that are between focal lengths of 300 and 800. And so with that said, what I was going to do with my stuff is I was just going to show some of the first images I took. With the first telescope I had that was actually designed for astrophotography, but I haven't gotten it together yet. So, and again, this is all about just seeing what camera can give you what kind of field of view with all these different focal lengths and whatnot. And of course, we'll talk about pixel scale a little bit too. Well, okay. So with that said, who would like to go first? No one. Okay. Nice meeting you guys.
I
Later.
I can, Chris.
Okay. All right. See what you
Uh,
got.
all right. So I put a little presentation together very quickly, so it's not great. Um, I am starting off on the shorter focal length just to kind of show a point on the what you were saying, Chris, on like the different fields of view you can get with different setups. And running through one picture. And I took all of these images and um, registered them to one reference. So this is all a chunk of a larger picture, which I'll show as well, just to kind of show the difference at different focal lengths. So this one's my Rokinon 135 millimeter with the Canon T2i. So this is on the shorter than what we're supposed to show today. Uh, the pixels are a little bigger, they're 4.3 micron, and so I drizzled because it's very undersampled. You end up with a pixel scale at 2x drizzle at 3.4 arc seconds per pixel. If you look at the full field, this is what that APS-C sensor would show for that. And
Wow, sweet.
then similarly, the same camera lens, but a smaller sensor. This is the ASI 533MC, smaller pixels, so slightly better pixel scale. Again, I drizzled because it's undersampled. But I wanted to show this one because the field of view is much tighter because you have a smaller sensor. This is a 1-inch sensor, so measured diagonally, it's 1-inch square. And then
So,
moving up, yeah, Dave?
Naveen, if you don't mind saying about, and I know people talked about it before, you called it undersampled and you had
Yes.
15 hours. Help me understand what the undersample, I may be misunderstanding what undersampled means then.
Um, Hopefully I'll get this right and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but uh, basically look at the seeing in your area. We're roughly in this Raleigh area at about 2 arc seconds seeing. And then if your camera's pixel scale is smaller than that, meaning trying to resolve more detail than what the atmosphere will allow, you're
Hmm.
oversampling. And if you're on the other side where your pixel scale is larger than the seeing, you're undersampling. And you can drizzle to compensate for that a bit. You have to dither. Dither means you're
Hmm.
moving your field of view slightly at some kind of regularity as you take pictures. And it can take not all the pixels are going to exactly line up. So what it does is you can chop the pixels in the processing or pre-processing steps into smaller pieces and use those smaller pieces to stack. If I was really prepared, I would have shown like the before and after of that. Because what happens is when you're undersampled, at least with my lens, stars look like squares, like small stars. Stars look like literally like a square. But with the drizzling, you get a more circular shape to them. So you get a little bit more better shapes to your stars, a little bit more detail in the nebulosity, etc.
So Naveen, I'm going to knock you off. I want to show this to everybody as far
Sure.
as um, this. I guess we'll do this on my desktop. See if I can get this to work. Never done this before, so I'm wondering if I bring up my desktop, is it going to be like a hall of mirrors if Zoom window is also open? Does anybody know?
We'll find out.
Give it a
Okay, all
shot.
right. All right, let's see what happens. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right, so that's good. So this is what I wanted to put out in front. So sort of what Naveen's describing, Dave. So this right here, this was a really good night here for North Carolina. This is went out and got this picture of Jupiter, and I mean, are you pretty familiar with how we capture planets? Because it's a little different.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so yeah, we do the same thing. We stack images, but we need a lot of them. So we do a
Right.
recording rather than, taking individual pictures. And so the sensor I have for this one, this was back in 2011, so it was quite a while ago. And the sensor that I had with this one was 640 by 480. So back in the day, that's what we call VGA, right?
Hmm.
So for this one, this is with a C9 and a quarter and a 2x bar load. Okay, C9 and a quarter had a focal length of 2350, and so put a 2x bar load in it, you get 4700. So this is a 4700 millimeter image. And like Naveen was saying, it's like when it comes to planetary stuff, it's really easy to judge rather than just going by a weather forecast or what the we call it just what you're reading about, instead of going out to the scope and actually looking. With planetary, it's really easy. So if you go out and you look at a planet, right? So like for example, this is Jupiter. So kind of like visualize it. Okay, so if this is Jupiter at the native focal length 2350, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, it looks really good, then that can tell you that you're undersampling, okay? Which means you can the seeing conditions of your area can handle a little more focal length, so you can quote magnify this more using a bar load. So obviously, I look at it like this, and if I want to magnify it with a bar load, well, I can get an image like this, and it still looks nice, right?
Hmm.
So, however, I'm looking at this, well, maybe I can push it even further. Okay, well, if I do that, it starts to look like that, which looks terrible. Okay, but this is mostly just looking at it from an image artifact kind of point of view. But yeah, it starts to look bad, as the more you more you extend the focal length. Okay, so man, like what Veen is saying, what you can do. Does anybody out there know what you can do to get an idea of seeing before you look at the telescope without, looking up online? Does anybody know how to do that? Really old-fashioned way. I'm sure
I,
Mark knows what I'm talking about.
The color of the sky,
No,
like amount of moisture or something.
no.
Take it out of
Twinkling of
focus
the
and see if it
stars.
boils.
Do what?
Take a star out of focus and see if it looks like it's boiling.
You're kind of close. No, I mean, just go out and look at the stars, and if they're twinkling, then you know it's going to be a bad night.
Okay.
No, yeah, well, yeah. So basically, yeah, that's basically what you're getting to. It's like, okay, well, it doesn't look like the sky is very still, and you can, that's your starting point right there, and you can do what Mark just said. You can focus on the star, and if it's jumping around at the focal length that you want to use, then just beware that yeah, you're like Naveen's saying, you're oversampling, and it's just going to be all smudgy looking. Well, it won't look its best. We'll just say it like that, okay? But this example right here, we'll get to it the next for the next meeting. It's especially true for planetary, because planetary demands a lot of focal length to get some decent looking images. So, but anyway, yeah. So that clarifies that. So, Naveen, okay, let's take a look at what you got again.
Ready?
Oops, I forgot. There we
Uh,
go. Sorry.
no worries. Okay, here's the share again. All right, so moving on to within the range of what we're supposed to be showing today, 430 millimeter focal length, ASI 2600 mm. This is the same pixel size as the previous picture, but the pixel scale, I did drizzle this one as well. The pixel scale is much smaller, so meaning for each pixel you see in the picture, there's less of the sky being covered. So this is like 0.879 arc seconds per pixel. But you also get less field of view. And I want to say I might have cropped this one. I can't really remember. I see a bit of a reddish tinge on the right side I might not have been happy with. But anyway, much less of the sky that you're covering with, longer focal length. And then I'm pushing it a little bit, 814 millimeter focal length with the Esprit 120. Same camera, about the same pixel scale, but no drizzle this time. And this is the field of view. There's no more zooming in. I don't remember if I put a picture up. Nope. I just took a quick snap of the sky plot from Astrobin where I post these just to show the different areas of the sky that you get for each of those. So this was the very first picture with the Canon T2i on the camera lens, 135 millimeter focal length, compared with the same camera lens and a smaller sensor. You get a little bit less of the sky. And then going to 430 millimeter focal length with an APS-C sensor, which is the same as the previous one, much less sky. And then 814 millimeter, not super large change, but again, I think I might have cropped that other one. I think I just put them all side by side.
That's pretty cool.
I have more pictures if we need more, but I'll cede the sharing if others wants to share.
Yeah, I'm still getting mine in order, so show us more.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
Let me find them. Give me a moment. All right. We'll start with old pictures. How about that? You guys can see where I started off. I just have Astrobin. So this one, this is Rosette Nebula way back in the day. Canon SL2, not Astro modified, on, pretty sure this was on my barn door tracker, heavily cropped. 300 millimeter focal length with a zoom lens, so a kit camera lens. It was not the best. I also didn't know what I was doing in processing. I don't have the raw data anymore, which I kick myself for. I really wish I had it. Then I got the William Optics Zenith Star 73, which is 430 millimeter focal length. So this was with that same camera, the Rebel or Canon SL2 or EOS 200D. Let's see, I've got some stuff for Orion. You want Orion or Iris Nebula or Veil Nebula?
do Iris because you like it so much.
Thank you, Chris.
Set him up for that one.
Yeah, well, you know. So this was with the Rokinon, the 533 MC. I think we did the workshop last year. It might have been 2 years ago now. Processing IFN. This was the data for that. So iris is this blue bit over here. I'm moving to 430 millimeters with the Zenith Star. Same sensor, the ASI 533 MC. Comes in quite a bit closer. This one is, sorry, I have to scroll to look. Skywatcher Explorer 150 PDS, so 6-inch Newtonian, same camera, 533 MC. Getting it a little bit closer, stars get to look a little better. This is the Esprit. Oh no, sorry, this is the 150 PDS. Same scope as the last picture, different camera, the 2600 mm. So this is moving from a 1-inch sensor to an APS-C sensor. So you get more of the dusty tails over here on the left. And I think this was, oh, this is out of, this is my C8. We'll ignore that one. Anybody else want to share anything? Or
Yeah, please do. I'm still trying to get my stuff in order here. I'm like, hope I didn't lose my stuff. My God, I can't find it.
uh-oh.
Yeah, I was right.
I could share two pictures that are not quite as nice as the presentation you just did, but might be a little bit useful to somebody that might be new down there. I'm not sure I know all the names. You want me to go
see it,
ahead?
Mark? Yeah, please.
Okay. Let me see if I can remember how to do this. Host
Do you
is
have
disabled.
permission? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Chris, you're gonna have to make Mark a co-host.
Okay, hold on. Sorry. I didn't even realize that. You're right. Okay, it should work now, Mark.
Yeah. Okay, can you guys see this?
Yes, we can.
Mhm.
Okay. For those of you that watch groups.io, this is my last thing I posted up there. But this was, I was going for a wide field of view. So this is my Red Cat 61 in optics. And it gives a field of view on my camera, which is an ASI 294 MC Pro. It gives a field of view of 3.5 by 2.5 degrees. So this is M11, the open cluster in Scutum. And then the background behind it, which is really rich Milky Way with, you know, the dark nebulae that are all over the place over the Milky Way. So this was a pretty easy thing to do for me. It was just 45 times 30 seconds. So it's nothing elaborate, but it shows you that, you know, a 300 millimeter scope on a medium resolution camera can do pretty well. And if I did my calculations right, this is 3.1 arc seconds per pixel. So it's pretty undersampled, yeah, but you still can't really tell. And I tried, Naveen, I tried drizzling it one time just to see how it worked, and it didn't do anything for me. However, it created each individual copy of this picture turned out to be half a gigabyte in size. And I said, it's not worth it.
Yeah, they do get a little bigger.
Wow.
So it's, you know, it's not just a question of can you do it, but can you afford to do it? And do you want to do it?
That's a good point. So with the larger files, it does get slower in all steps of processing, loading the picture, removing stars, everything's slower.
Yeah.
And Astro Bin yells at me, like, are you
Oh,
sure
yeah.
you want to post this?
And then if you really want to show it, on a web page or something like I do, you have to make it smaller again and take all that resolution away that you try so hard to get. So I'm not sure, unless you've got some kind of a really neat way of showing it, whether or not it does anything for you. Astro Bin, I guess, is a way you can do that, right?
Yeah,
Because
they'll
all
show
those,
you, automatically scale it down for you. But I think, Mark, actually, I've thought about this. One of the things I would think maybe even if you were gonna show the image at a lower resolution, you might get benefit. And this is where you're like really trying to squeeze everything out of the data. Probably could do better sharpening if you drizzled it, like deconvolution
yeah.
and things like that. But yeah, the question is it worth the time and effort if you're just gonna I don't know if it would look materially like actually better if it was scaled down again.
I have my own web page, so I struggle to get a good representation of this picture out there. And normally when you put stuff out for a web page, it's usually set at 72 pixels, well, per inch. The resolution is 72, but I finally figured out that if I increased the picture to 96 dots per inch, um, then the cluster, the M11 cluster in the middle there, wasn't blurred out in the middle. So there's things that you can do, if you're just trying to present on the web in a lower resolution mode and not lose, what's really there. So anyway, that's probably deeper than we wanted to know. So anyway, I was going to mention that M11 is 14 arc minutes in size. And so
Wow.
this really teeny, in this at this scale of 3.5 by 2.5 degrees. So the next one I'm going to show is this. So I took this one with my Genesis, which is 500 millimeters f5, same camera. And if I did the calculations right, this is at 1.8 arc seconds per pixel. And so what I did is I took the whole picture and cropped out all but the central 50% of it and then displayed it at the same size as the previous one. So you can see that it's the middle part of it's resolved fairly well. I'm sorry, if I didn't say already, this is M56, the globular in Lyra, not too far from the Ring Nebula.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can see a lot more in just 200 millimeters more focal length. So the scopes were both approximately f5, but increasing to 500 millimeters, makes a big difference. So that's all I was going to do.
Okay. All right. Well, I don't have super technical details about the stuff I was showing you. I'm going to show you. I was just showing you that this stuff is mid focal length. So here we go. Where am I? Sharing. Oops. Okay. Everybody see that? So this is probably like one of my first happy star cluster picture that or image, and of course it's M13. And the reason why it's off center is because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to be able to capture that nice little galaxy there. I can't remember what its name is. Believe, yeah, there's that galaxy that everybody talks about too, right there off to the side. But anyway, so this was with my first imaging telescope, and it was what's called a Schmidt-Newtonian. People probably heard about me talking about that in passing. And it took really good images, and I sold it, and I wish I wouldn't have because because it was like my first scope, and all the techniques I've learned over the years, if I had that scope back with me, I wonder if I would have evolved any as far as processing and taking better images. And this was with a DSLR, putting something other than a DSLR camera into it. So the specifics as far as field of view for this, it's a 800 millimeter telescope. It was an f4 8-inch Newtonian, and what was it? This camera sensor. This was a Canon 350D, and it was an 8 megapixel camera sensor. And the field of view here is about 1.5 degree by 1 degree. And let's see, yeah, the pixel value for this one is about 1.6 arc seconds per pixel. So it kind of pushes it, but then it's like, okay, let's see what else I can do. But see, the thing that my mentality where my mentality was going is that, okay, well, I was seeing what other people were doing in the club with the popular triplet refractors that were more expensive than this telescope. But the fact that you get something of similar focal length and but more compact and whatnot, I was just like, if I can just make this stuff as small as possible, but with plenty capable optics to get better images, that it's worth it. So that was the reason why I got rid of this scope. So, but I wish I had it back just to see what I could do with it. But that was my first cluster image. This is my first Galaxy image, and this was unguided actually, and that's uh, M891 NGC 891 in the middle there. So I think people call it. I think this is like the galaxy that appears in one of the intros of one of the seasons of the outer old black and white Outer Limits, and you got some nice little tiny galaxies here. I think there's one right there. I'm not sure, but same story. It was 1.6 arc seconds per pixel, and field of view was 1.5. And so yeah, there's the Galaxy one, and then this one was. I want to go back to eventually. Probably people will recognize that one. I want to say that's NGC 7293. I think that's Bubble Nebula, actually. Yeah, sorry, that's the NGC object. It's the largest planetary nebula in the night sky, and I don't have it because I don't have it pulled up here. But another thing that you can compare not only with field of view, but pixel scale is the size of some of these objects that we have. And I don't know. Here, hold on. Let me see if I can find this. Maybe I can. Let's see. Lunar. Get you out of the way. But you see how big that object is. And okay, so is that right?
Chris, we're still seeing Helix. I don't know if you're intending to show.
Yeah, no, I'm searching for the other one right now.
Okay.
Yeah, Helix Nebula. Thanks. That's what I'm trying to think about. Okay.
Or the Eye of God, I think, as they call it down in South America.
Yeah. So let's see. I just put that on my desktop there. Let's go through it. Let's see. But you think about what you just saw. Why in the hell are all those showing up? Okay. It's not showing up here. Let's see. Let's do O3A. If that shows up. No, it's not showing up. Okay. Well, anyway, So you saw the Eye of God there, or the Helix Nebula
Helix,
there.
yeah.
And then let's go back to that. I just feel that this is important for us to get out there. So thanks for your patience. So let's see, I'll make it about the same size. But you're using a different viewer here for it. Okay, so stop share. So we talked about field of view, pixel scale, but what's really nice to look at is, along with focal length is like, well, what can I fit in with these different focal lengths? So let's see, we'll go do desktop, share. Okay, so you see the two side by side. So using the same camera and same telescope, it was the same camera and same telescope took both of these pictures right here. So it gives you an idea of how big some of these objects are. That thing is, almost about 3/4 of the size of the full moon. In fact, there's some little outer reaches right around here that I didn't pick up that I know exist with this planetary nebula. But yeah, it's the largest planetary nebula in the night sky. This right here, as far as nostalgia go, this was the first lunar eclipse I ever saw, or cared about photographing because I had a telescope and everything at the time. And this was back in 2008, Mark, and that was when we went to North Cary Park to look at it. And I'm pretty sure you were there. Maybe you still have pictures of this too. But yeah, this
I
is
semi-remember that, Chris.
mine. I mean, come on, it's not that hard to remember. Everybody remembers every lunar eclipse in their life. So anyway, okay, but yeah, so there's that. So all right, so I guess we'll just leave up my desktop there. But anyway, so this was my first uh, one of my first nebula images. This was unguided. This was at what was it? Oh gosh, think with the Canon 350D. And so just to like sum everything up here, if I move on to my next telescope that I used in other camera, here's that, that was my first nebula picture, first Orion picture I was able to do. This guy right here, which is a massive improvement, but if you look carefully, okay, you can tell that the field of view is a little smaller, okay? But what you're seeing in this nebula picture right here, this was taken with an 800 millimeter scope with the DSLR camera. And then this one right here was taken with a 630 millimeter scope. And if I had taken it with the DSLR camera that I used over here, obviously this would be a bigger field of view. Okay. And well, to throw a monkey wrench in a discussion here, what you're seeing is that this was taken with a what do you call it? What model ZWO camera was it? Oh, the ASI 183. So let me go into let's see, where is it? I don't know if you guys had this pulled up, but this is what I'm looking at currently in the chat. And we go back to that website that we looked at last time, and I'm just entering in the info here. So this was taken with an ASI 183 mm. So we go down to ZWO. Let's see, ASI 183. Here's that, and ASI 183 has tinier pixels. Okay, so I think the pixel size that I had back with the first camera that you saw with the 8 megapixel DSLR camera, I think that was like 5 megapixels, and whereas this one is 2.4. Okay, so it's about half the size of, or half the pixel is almost like half the size of that previous camera sensor. And because of that, the pixel array on this sensor, though bigger, is still going to cover a tinier area. And so, but it was a monochrome image that I had taken. The actual color part that you saw here, I did take with a DSLR. And so if I were to, what is it? Let's see. Let's do this, actually. So this is just me going off the top of my head what I think it looked like. You can't really measure it here, but this is about how much field of view a little more than that. About like this as far as width goes. Let's see. Yeah, about like this. This is how much the DSLR would have been able to see was at 630 millimeters. But since I took a luminance channel with the using the ASI 183 millimeter, but it wasn't luminance, so it's H alpha to enhance the image of it. Obviously, I couldn't. I had to go by the field of view of ASI 183. So I hope everybody followed that. And so yeah, that just gives you an idea of what one camera can do with one telescope versus one of shorter focal length, but a smaller camera sensor. So anyway, that's all I have to show. Close this. I'm going to stop share. Who would like to go next? Nobody? Wow. Okay. Well,
I could go.
all right, Jeff.
Let's try sharing my screen. You all see my screen?
Not yet.
Yeah. So, oh, maybe I
Oh, wait
share.
a minute. Here we go. There we
Yeah.
go.
Okay. So I just have a kind of the gear list of what I was using here. I'm using a 6-inch Newtonian. It's at 575 millimeter focal length. I'm using the ZW2600 MC Duo, and these are all basically 5-minute subs. Pixel size is like 1.3 arc seconds per pixel. These are all about 2.3 to 1.5 degrees field of view. So we can start with this. Can you all see that still?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's nice.
Okay. So this is the Lion Nebula. Yes. I'm not really familiar with what constellation it's near. It's kind of, I guess, south of the Elephant Trunk Nebula, that
Yeah,
part of the
please.
sky.
Yeah, I would say it's like over in Cassiopeia or Cepheus.
Yeah, over in that area. And so this was shot over 4 nights, so about 28.5 hours with so I'm using the ASCAR D1 and D2 filters, processed in PixInsight. So yeah, I can zoom in quite a bit.
Yeah, I think I've never seen before in the middle, actually. It almost looked like it
Yeah.
was, before you zoomed in, it almost looked like this ray coming out of it.
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
wondering
and
about that.
I don't know if you can see my mouse
Mhm.
cursor.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, like you're talking about this right here.
Yeah, at first I was
Yeah.
like, is that an image artifact? No, that's real. I've never seen that before. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I guess
Nice refraction spikes too.
yeah, some of the larger stars, like this guy down here. Yeah, I guess dark, there's 2 dark nebula up here, but can kind of start to see it filling in with enough exposure time. Yeah,
Yes, I can see Yoda as well. Amelia just commented you can see Yoda.
Oh, where? Oh, on the right?
Well, maybe they don't want it.
I see it right in the middle of the green area.
Oh,
Yeah, that the ear sticking out there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like
Yeah,
almost as if he's upside down, though.
Yeah, I can do
He's using the force to float a little bit.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a little better. Yeah.
kind of. Yeah, I thought it was a penguin, but I can see Yoda's
Yeah,
here.
I see that.
And
That's
then
cool.
kind of a monster face here. I don't know.
Yeah, about to chop on something. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the Lion Nebula. Got a couple more. So this was 2-panel mosaic of the North American Nebula. So I
The
think that
same
would,
specs and everything.
yeah, same everything, same setup. Not as much exposure on the right side panel, about 10 and a half hours. So like roughly 50-50 split between each filter. And on the left, I got a little bit more, up to 14 hours, again, roughly 50-50. But
Jeff,
yeah,
you call them D1 and D2. Are they like oxygen and hydrogen
yeah,
alpha, or
yeah. So the D1 is a hydrogen oxygen filter, and then
yeah?
the D2 is the sulfur oxygen filter.
Okay.
So yeah, splitting those out and then processing them, I guess, as a,
Is there a way
with
that you guys, I mean, I never knew this about like these, was it bicolor or whatever these filters are that are able to just pick up two wavelengths? Or is there a way that you like separate the wavelengths through processing?
yeah. So the way I'm doing that is essentially splitting the channels. So the red channel on both the filters would be either the hydrogen alpha on the D1 filter, or on the D2 it would be the sulfur, and then the blue and the green channels are the oxygen.
Yeah.
So then I'll split out all the channels and then integrate the blue and green channels together to get the oxygen channel.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, usually when I do a 50-50 split, the oxygen and hydrogen are pretty evenly balanced, and then the sulfur lags behind, a little bit, but not too
I never
bad.
noticed that, but like, yeah, it's like super red to the left there where you're going right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. There's definitely a lot of we're picking up more sulfur on, like the corners, like you were saying. And I did a similar attempt at just the blue gold palette here. Oh, yeah. And then I guess, this was always interesting to me, was this feature here in red. Like that was, consistently showing up like just sulfur in that spot. So I never
Okay, so
quite figured that
carbon
out
star.
yet. Yeah.
Wonder if you can see that, I mean, right there. Because what's cool about stars like that is that sometimes if they're variable, and maybe you caught it right there, if it is variable, you caught it
Mm,
maybe when it was at its lowest luminance. And some of those, they're still fairly bright, but they're at their lower end brightness for their, their periodic, brightening and dimming as
mhm,
for a variable star. And if you catch one of those, you look at it through the telescope, visually, you'd swear there's just like an LED light hanging there. I mean, a red
mhm.
LED light off in the distance. I mean, it's really surreal. It's just like, what the hell is that? So,
Yeah, this
but
one was weird because it wasn't showing up in the hydrogen, oxygen, images I captured, only in the sulfur channel. I don't know.
maybe it's about no supernova. Who knows?
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, most supernova remnants that I've taken images of, they tend to be rich in sulfur, actually.
Oh, okay. Nice. So then we got, I think, two.
Jeff, I've got to say that the detail is incredible when you're zooming in like that, and just the
Yeah.
the
That
filaments and all the various things you were seeing in there. It's just
that
it's,
must have
it's
been
Yeah.
like like what our discussion is. That must have been like a really good night. I mean,
Yeah, this was all of these were from since June through now. Like pretty much any quote unquote clear night, I was trying to capture as much as I could.
and you said this is
Um,
1.3 arc seconds per pixel.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. I
very nice.
went and used that website you were posting to try, and when I was assembling all this together, I was trying to balance that out.
Jeff,
So,
what scope was this? One
so
more time, I didn't catch that. What scope?
yeah, so this is with the
the 150.
Aperture Carbon Star, the 150 Newtonian. So that's been working. That's my first, I guess, real telescope. Decided to go with the Newtonian. It's been pretty good. I haven't needed to mess with things, but I still did anyways. But yeah, out of the box, it's been pretty good. Yeah, so did also manage to recently capture Andromeda. I guess this must have been a few weeks back. The last, good stint of some clear nights. And again, yeah, the just barely kind of fit the whole thing in the frame here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
most pictures you see them like that. They have to tilt it because it's,
To
gotta
literally
be
try to get it in the
made.
frame.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's even, I think on the framing and Stellarium, it's, I guess if I got enough integration time, you eventually start to see the corners fill out, like very
Mhm.
roughly. I mean, you can see the clusters of stars and
Yeah,
stuff.
right there. So
Yeah.
yeah, well, that's another thing that you could do. I mean, do you have the same setup? Do you with the same setup? Do you have a image of the moon?
Um, I can dig around and find it. Yeah, because well, so the images I have from the moon are video, and that the maximum video
Uh,
you can take is at 1080p, and
okay,
that's not quite big enough to fit the whole moon in the frame.
okay.
But yeah, to get to your point, like the reference, like how big would the moon be in this frame? So like um top to bottom, this is like 1.5 degrees, and the moon is about half a degree. So a
Mhm.
third of the screen would be the full diameter of the moon.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it's centered, you know, when you take an image, it's pretty nice. But yeah, Andromeda is pretty gargantuan in comparison to the moon.
Jeff, what is your effective focal length here? Do you use a reducer or anything?
Yeah, so I'm using the 0.995x coma corrector. So natively it's 600 and it bumps it down to 575.
Okay.
So, a little bit more light gathering power, but more for getting a flat field.
What was the brand of the color corrector?
What was how much it was? Like
No,
the
no, the
reduction?
brand. I'm sorry.
Oh, this was, I think, the aperture one. They um, had a recommended one. I
Okay.
have contemplated, I guess, some others for an even wider, field of view, but haven't yet tried that.
Okay. Yeah, that's spectacular.
Yeah, I was going to
Yeah.
say, Jeff, do you have these anywhere? Because I love just sitting and just
Oh, yeah.
examining and exploring.
I haven't. I've just kind of started this year going down the rabbit hole. So I haven't really been posting anything online yet. I eventually intend to, I guess, put stuff up there. I just haven't gotten to that point yet.
Yeah. Are
But
you on
yeah,
Discord?
I have Discord. I just haven't really, you know, been
Show it off in
active.
Discord. A lot of people will eat it up. We'll eat this stuff up right here.
Okay, like posting images there. Oh,
Yeah, you
like
can
in
just post the image.
discussions.
You don't have to like have it on a website or anything. You just
Okay.
put it in as an
Yeah.
attachment.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that. But yeah,
Don't be
I'll look
shy.
into
This
it.
is pretty good.
Yeah,
This is really
I have
good.
I have it
Yeah, I
saved in
could.
the final image folder, but I don't know. I keep going back and back and back and reprocessing. Um, because yeah, I don't know. It's just like I said, a rabbit hole with
Yeah, and you
images
did
and
a
process.
you did a wonderful job with the balancing of the core. Not getting. So many people will sort of blow it, including myself, will often have that blown out. In this kind of level of detail, it's just spectacular.
Yeah, I'll say the
Definitely.
in PixInsight, the HDR, I think transform definitely helped out with the core there.
Mhm.
To kind
You
of
did an
did
HDR of this?
yeah,
I
for the
know,
core.
I don't use Pix Insight, or is that just a technique in Pix Insight? You can just
Um,
do like one
it's like a
exposure.
script. Yeah, it'll try and do an HDR and kind of essentially balance out kind of the over brightened core.
Okay.
It's HDR, multi-scale
Yeah,
transformation.
yeah,
That
that's the
helps
one.
to tamp down, as you're saying, the bright
Yeah,
stuff.
I
Is this
did that
taken from
for
your
the
backyard?
yeah. This is just from South Durham, don't have any street lights right next to me, but yeah, I think Bortle 6 guy.
Okay.
So then I guess for this one here, this was so 2 nights with the UV IR. So about if I have the details in the file name, yeah, so about 13 hours on unfiltered, and then a night 7 hours plus with the D1 filter to try and get the
Yeah, I was
hydrogen.
gonna say you definitely got some other filters going on in there.
Yeah,
But
even
it's
without
gorgeous.
the D1, the color was definitely showing up, but the filter definitely helped
Yeah.
bring
Nice
that out.
scope, nice processing.
Yeah, thank you. So those are kind of the ones I had that were ready, I guess. Still trying to go back and reprocess some of the old stuff, or relatively old. So yeah, it's never ending. I keep, I don't know. Eventually, I guess I'll settle on something and call that good.
This one's pretty good.
I would say so.
Yeah, even just tonight I was noticing there's a green hue cast here, and that's coming from the H1 filter or the hydrogen filter, because it definitely does pick up some more I guess contamination there.
But it's
'Cause
not just around the Andromeda, though. It's not just contamination either, because as they're
yeah.
getting greater and greater detail, like you are, they're finding that there's, a lot more nebulosity happening under the periphery. So
Oh yeah, no,
don't
it's
take it all out.
no, yeah, I know down here I was like, okay, missed that spot. Just trying to keep it, in the main galaxy here. So
I don't think I could see it on the Zoom, whatever it is you're
oh
talking.
oh, it's just a very slight green hue around this galaxy in the bottom here. And that's coming from kind of the red from the hydrogen alpha mixing with the you know the UVIR image. But yeah, cool. Yeah, those are I have, I guess, one more with the Elephant Trunk Nebula.
Hmm.
And this is one where, again, I'm going to go back and reprocess because again, 2-panel mosaic, but I hadn't yet started like linear fitting the 2 brightnesses between the 2 panels. So I think the bottom is definitely a little bit brighter than the top, but yeah, some pretty good detail, I think.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's a guy running with the pizza box. No, it is, seriously.
A pizza box, which one? Oh, that guy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
always I
Or
like
with a
that with the pizza
megaphone, I
box.
don't know.
Yeah, and then there's the piranha whale chasing after him.
Okay, and so since we're playing like this, just indulge me. Go up to the upper left there, center.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, where you're getting close, right? Yeah, right where you.
Yeah.
What does
Yeah,
that look
no.
like?
It's a little devil man shooting fireballs into the center here.
And Jeff, I promise you, I'm now a retired psychologist, so I'm not analyzing anything you're saying about these
Yeah, yeah.
projectives that
No,
that we're doing here for you.
he clearly has 2 legs, little ears, horns, and
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
yeah.
Yeah, well, well, what I was going to get, I was hoping everybody else would see it, just you guys. Well, I guess you have the little thing that turns it up there. Put it right side up again. Quote right side up again.
Yeah.
And then go there. What it looks like to me is as if somebody was shooting a frog out of the nebula.
Oh, like
So it's like his legs are like all flung out to the side there.
oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, coming out from that direction, he's
Yeah.
flying. Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Just a random fact or factoid. You've all heard of the Rorschach ink blot test, and
Yeah.
did you know that it started as a parlor game that they used to do back in the 20s and 30s? They would put these kind of things up and just sit around in a party and have people try to say what they saw. So I'm smiling to myself just thinking about it's just so cool that we can do this with something that is out there I mean, it's
Are you
just
laughing at us, Dave?
no, no, not at all, Chris. No, no. I mean, it's a good smile. It's just reminding me of what people have been doing for many many years before they had TV and stuff to entertain themselves. They would sit and do this, and I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've got a few
I
more
call it
because
playing cloud.
yeah, this guy looks like a little turtle to me, with a shell on his little head.
Oh, I see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Somebody ought to do that sometime and just like go through their, images and just pull out things like that. It's like this is a frog, or that's a turtle, or that's a guy running there with a gun or pizza
yeah,
box or megaphone, whatever.
yeah, there's all kinds of. I mean, that's one of the joys I've had, just kind of really scrutinizing and looking for things. Um,
I mean,
Speaking of which, I
that's
can go back to this guy. So this was speaking of that. Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see it to me.
oh
This
wow, I saw a dragon there, or
this
a
one.
mouth open, or a little horse
Um,
right there.
yeah, so I see a little horse up here, and to me, this is like an angel with some kind of monster, facing off. So all kinds of fun little things.
Yeah, this is beautiful. Yeah, definitely post this on Discord.
Okay. Yeah, I'll
They don't have a reservation like a regular artist. Oh God, I hate this image. After everybody has seen it and say that it looks great.
yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll look into it. Cool. But yeah, that's all the ones I had pulled up.
Right. Yeah, very good. Okay. Does anybody else have anything to share, or
Yeah,
shall
I
we
got
go?
one, Chris.
Okay.
All right. I think that's it. Um, do you see it?
Nope, not
You do
yet.
not?
Maybe it's this one. You see it now?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's better than Naveen's. Naveen, why can't you do this bitch? Do this well.
Do you see it or I don't know?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's
Oh yeah,
really
oh
nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
Don,
it's
it's
really nice.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is I took this, I think it was August 1st. Um, it's 4 hours, a 3-minute exposure is taken with my 90 millimeter Stella Mira, and the camera, it's uncropped. It's the 533, which is the 3.76 micron
Hmm.
pixels. And the field of view is 1.2 by 1.2 degrees. And kind of, I kind of push process to get some more of that faint, the dust and darker areas, and kind of overexpose a little bit on the center of the iris and that. But the colors, turned out okay, and yeah, I with 8 hours, 10 hours, yeah, would really get more interesting in that. Um, yeah, yeah, that's it. All
Okay.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
right, I'll stop sharing.
Okay. Anybody else have anything to share? No? All right. Well, Johnny, I thought you would have had something. So are you still here, Johnny?
I got a couple from the eclipse the other night. That's all I got.
Okay, well, let's go ahead and look at those. If anybody else has that to share, we'll see that. Is that what's behind you, Dave? Last night?
Yes.
Okay. Was it last night, or is it the day night before? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, go for it, Johnny. You still around? Oh, there he is. Ooh, yeah. That's something I've always wanted to do, like do a long focal length look at the shadow coming over.
Ooh,
Yeah, this was around mid eclipse, and I did it with a Skywatcher 180 Mac and an ASI 294 camera. I did the video clip and everything and reduced it down. So it was with a 2x power mate. So it was, the Mac is 2700 millimeters native focal length, and then twice that. So anyhow, just trying to get some sort of halfway interesting view of a pretty ho-hum event, So it's
Johnny, we were actually having a little discussion of that over in Discord because there's definitely some people who are calling the ho hum kind of thing, but I don't know what it is. I loved it. I just mainly observed for about an hour's worth
yeah.
and just enjoyed it. So I don't know why.
Um, the
And beautiful, beautiful image, of course.
the 294, the highest frame rate I can get with is about 15 frames per second,
Hmm.
So I did I think 500 frames and then reduce those down in auto stacker and Registack. So
Is that the cooled camera or uncooled?
yeah, it was the cool camera. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, so let's see.
hey, Johnny,
Yeah.
just your opinion. We were discussing the penumbra part of the eclipse versus the umbra. Do you think
Right.
that the way you took all the frames and stacked them, that it lessened the penumbra effect of the photo and enhanced the umbral part? It looks like it to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Me too.
Hmm.
I got a sense of the penumbra extending, down toward the middle of the moon. I could get that as I was processing the image, and it was very evident in the exposure that there was some penumbra in play there. Is that what you mean, Mark?
Yeah, yeah. And
Yes.
I was really talking as much about the extent of it. So you can
Yeah.
certainly see some penumbra there, but kind
Yeah.
of visually, and I was looking at binoculars and it was, much more apparent a lot further away from the really dark part of the shadow.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
like this, I like the delineation between the light and the dark here.
Hmm.
Yeah. 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 Let's see. Yeah. Another one here. It's not letting me advance. There we go. Okay. Can you see that one?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, that's through the Meade 14 with a full frame DSLR with my Nikon D850. That's also around mid eclipse, and had to put a focal reducer on it at some outrageous spacing just to barely get the whole moon in. But uh, and this is
Now,
the same
now,
night.
Johnny, with that,
Yeah.
I'm sorry for interrupting, but that last one we just saw, is that also the AutoStack or Registacks?
No, this is a single
That's a
frame.
single. That's what I thought. Because
Single
as I look
frame.
at the
Yeah.
the umbral section or whatever, that's more of what I saw as I was just observing.
Yep.
Where it
Yep.
seemed like with some of the images that we've seen, like from the Sea Star or whatever, it really seems like it's pushed the shadow, and I
Yeah.
don't know
Yeah.
what that
Yeah.
was
I
about or
agree.
why that was. Yeah,
Yeah.
but that's love this one. Beautiful.
The
Sorry for stopping you.
And from doing these, I determined that the seeing was pretty good that night. So I went
Oh
on
yeah,
Saturn and did this through the Meade 14 also. The Titan was very good.
sweet. Yeah,
So some pretty good seeing that night. Completely cloud-free sky. You know. Anyhow, that's all I've got.
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Yep. Very nice. Thanks for showing.
Yeah, looks great, Johnny. One of the things I was hoping to see that I saw your image. a while back. Can you pull it up? It's that one of Titan's shadow.
Let's see. I don't think I can lay my hands on that one right now, Chris. But yeah, it had a transit of Titan
Mm-hmm.
shadow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Seeing wasn't that great that night, but
Well, I mean, it started low, so what can you do?
yeah, yeah,
And John, did you say a 14-incher then for those?
yeah. The Meade 14 ACF Schmidt Cassegrain is a
Mm-hmm.
F10, and for the Saturn image, I had a 2X power mate in there, so it's 7,000 millimeters or something like that. So, and I
Mm-hmm.
was using a Player One camera, the Uranus C Player One camera, which gives you a very, very high frame rate. It was like 80 or 90
Mm-hmm.
frames per second. Um, so it grabs it in a hurry. So I'm looking forward to doing more with it. I haven't had it very long, and do some Jupiter stuff and some Mars stuff.
I just looked them up, Johnny. What was the model of that Player One?
It's the Uranus C, the color
Uranus
camera.
C.
The color camera. It's an
Wow, that's huge, man.
8 megapixel color camera. I was using the region of interest on it and getting a
Yeah.
nice frame rate. So um,
Well, I mean, that's helpful, so you can like actually find the object if it's off center somewhere.
yeah, yeah, it's helpful to me. I know that. But,
Now, it looks like it's the largest sensor here. I'm looking at the list from the website.
yeah, I've had it. I got it as soon as it came out. I've got two of those Player One cameras. I've got
How much were they?
The Neptune C, which I reviewed for Sky and Telescope, and they did not want it back.
They did not want it
Did
back?
not want it back. They didn't want to pay to ship it back.
Okay, well, if you don't want it, you can give it to me.
Yeah, yeah. So knowing that, I felt better about paying for the larger sensor camera. So anyway, uh,
Wow, that's cool. So, but these are meant, well, yeah, have people used, okay, so I assume these are supposed to be for planetary only. I mean, because that's what it's saying
yeah,
up here, Planet Series cameras.
yeah, lunar and planetary, and they have mono versions of them too that are good for solar, H alpha solar.
Yeah, I just posted a link in the chat if you guys want to look at it. But yeah, most of the sensors are same as the ASI series, I guess. But uh, is there anything like special that you like about them versus like a ZWO?
Well, the frame rates are a little higher than the ZWO cameras, which
Okay.
doing planetary stuff, you really benefit from shooting 80 or 100 frames per second versus 30 or 40.
Yeah, mine, the one I had the other day that you commented on was 22, I think, was the frame rate. So,
Yeah,
world of difference. You're just so true.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I haven't gotten into shooting, multiple videos and combining them like a lot of the planetary imagers have. But when I'm shooting Jupiter, you can go about a minute with Jupiter, but not much longer before the rotation starts.
Right, begins to impact. Yeah.
But if you can get 8,000 frames in a minute, you're doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's exciting new stuff, no doubt about it. So,
Okay. But yeah, one thing that I think everybody should like try to take advantage of or have on their radar to try to get a hold of is the one that Johnny took that I mentioned, the Saturn moon Titan when it does its shadow transit across the planet. That is very rare, and it usually only occurs right around when Saturn's at equinox with the sun, which only happens every 15 years. And so, and I would imagine if I were just to make up a number, pull out of the air, you probably would get like maybe 5 transits of Titan that would be visible on whatever hemisphere on Earth that happens to catch it at the time. So it's very rare. So if anybody um, wants to get, a good imaging opportunity of something that you probably don't see every day, like a solar eclipse or whatever, this is going to be one of them. So
Yeah, and Titan's large enough. It's a good sized dot
yeah,
on Saturn. You figure, Saturn's almost twice as far away as Jupiter, and you know how
Hmm.
big a Jupiter moon is when it transits Jupiter. But
so I
Titan,
imagine you probably would be able to see it with your own eyeballs. I mean, not just with a camera.
oh yeah, yeah.
I'm always amazed, and I understand it a bit, but not all the way, about the clarity of the circles as they make their transit, or they're moving through. You may not have even a wonderful night of seeing, but boy, those shadows are so sharp. Do you know why that is, Johnny, or anybody else?
I
About
don't know, because the sun's so far away. For one thing, the sun is more nearly a point light source at that distance than it is in our sky here.
Mhm.
The further away the sun is, the smaller the sun is, and the sharper the shadow it's going to cast.
It's sort of, and I
Yeah,
mean, it works on a like Johnny's saying. It's like if you um, say like you turn out the lights in your in a room in your house and you have a flashlight, and you put your hand in front of the flashlight, you get this big outline of a hand on the wall. Whereas if you take your hand and put the I don't know prop the flashlight up on one side of the room and you take your hand and put it close to the wall that's projecting on it, it's nice and crisp.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
So it's something about the way the photons flow around an object that's really close to it and versus one that's like far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the physics are behind it, but yeah, I
That
mean,
that helped. That helped.
Yeah.
Well, if I can jump in, I think it's got something to do with the penumbra and the umbra thing based on the angular size of the sun at the distance the object is.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's pretty much it. So yeah, if you put your
Mhm.
hand in front of it, yeah, it's going to be a very fuzzy around outline around your hand when you see it projected on the wall. And of course, like you're saying, Mark, it'll be dark, right around where your palm would be. So yeah, no, that's a good way of saying it. So
But the sun's 780 million miles away.
Yeah,
It's a much smaller.
just a few 100 million miles.
yeah, but almost what is the sun like? Almost I forgot how many miles in diameter it is. Pretty damn big light bulb. So, but yeah, so that's really too bad because you see the bat signal up in the sky. It's nice and crisp. No, that's a bit of a stretch. So anyway,
I really
okay.
appreciate
Well,
I really appreciate mentioning the Outer Limits galaxy there, Chris. That's pretty.
yeah. Well, if I were to ramble, which I tend to do too much.
Well, I'm just glad there are people here that remember the Outer Limits.
This it really. I'm with you,
Well,
Johnny.
I like the old black and white. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
horror movies or science fiction. In fact, my well, she's out in the kitchen right now, and I wouldn't be surprised she hears me say this. Uh, like every Halloween, I like to go and watch the old black and white Universal picture monster movies. But then I also, as far as um, you watch your monster movies in black and white, but you had a few good black and white science fiction movies, and like one of my favorites is was it Thing from Another World or something? It's the one where oh gosh, it was that actor from Bonanza. He's like the monster in it. Um, but anyway, yeah, there's that. And as far as seeing that galaxy on on the outer limits, you see the Eagle Nebula, and I think it's Andromeda, and the North American Nebula on the opening sequence of the day the Earth stood still.
Oh, yeah.
So and that's in black and white too, and or well, obviously it's black and white, but the one that I'm going to try, I need to get on the ball to try to catch is the Stevens Quintet, and where that like works into the conversation here is that Stevens Quintet is that galaxy photo that you see close to the beginning of the movie It's a Wonderful Life, or where you can kind of say that that's God talking. And so that's one of my dad's favorite films. So I've always been trying to, get around to like photographing that and take the image and put it into like a nice 4x6 form because that thing is super tiny. So now I'm just looking at the ASI 183, the Orion Nebula. I can get some decent detail, but I'm gonna need a good night of seeing and hopefully get enough detail with just 630 millimeters, considering that the pixels are 2.4 micron. I think it's like it comes out to be like 0.7, like almost 0.8 arc seconds per pixel. So it could work. But yeah. Anyway, yeah, thank you, Johnny. I like that kind of stuff, just going back and see what's possible or whatever. I especially like that when you showed me your old toys that you had about that one where you had a telescope taking an image off of a mirror, pointing a telescope at a mirror and taking an image off of it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But yeah.
I got a lot of old stuff. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, but it's kind of cool. I mean, it just shows you that this is just photons. You just need to learn how to capture them. And so, yeah, it's no different. You just take a mirror outside and point it up at the moon and point your telescope to the reflection on the mirror, and it's going to look, quote, just as good as if you point your telescope to the sky.
Yeah.
As long as you can get it in focus, of course. But yeah. But anyway, okay. I guess that's a wrap. Does anybody have anything else?
I wonder what you folks are doing with the comet because it's upon us here. So
I'm kind of paranoid, or not paranoid, pessimistic because it's going to be so low, or at least I looked, last look, it was going to be really low.
Mark and I have been talking about it for a bit, and I'm definitely hoping to get at least the tail because it's in near conjunction as it's going to be swinging by us and stuff, so it's going to be a tough one to get. But I think the tail actually may end up being pretty. So that's one of the things I was thinking about targeting.
yeah, you
We'll see. We'll see.
The comet itself doesn't have much altitude, but if the tail is 20 degrees long, it could be seen
Right.
in a dark sky, and that's back in the 70s. That's how people saw Comet West. The tail would rise before dawn, and then
Yeah.
the comet would come up 20 minutes later. So if we're looking at that, there may be some chance of seeing that from a dark place. But October's the time, starting around the 12th
Yes.
or so.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be out there trying.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. So just to go over the schedule again, because I was able to come up with a topic every month until the end of the year. So next month, this is a 3-part series, but next month that's our imaging target challenge. And for those who are here, if you remember, the target challenge was just take an image of a supernova remnant. And like the two best examples I keep bringing up are the Crescent Nebula and Veil Nebula. And I've been trying to do the Veil Nebula, but I've been having computer problems. And so, yeah, that's
Sorry for the early share of the Veil there when I popped that out in the imaging group, but I just was so excited to have a first It's the first time I ever threw a filter on the darn camera, and it was just incredible what showed up.
Well,
So I just,
hey, be quiet. So you still get to post it, but you can't disclose too many details, so you'll have more to talk about it, right?
thank
Okay.
you, Chris. Yes.
Unless you get another image or of a supernova in it, but yeah, all right. So yeah, that's the deal. So just do that.
He's got a guide scope now.
I'm working on the guide scope. Yes.
No, you shut your mouth. Hey, yeah. Okay. Sorry about that. But all right, yeah. So supernova remnant for next month, October, and then the final part of this series, long focal lengths, where we can show tiny objects, and then of course planetary images. And so that's it. And then December, we don't have really an imaging meeting per se, but we do our annual imaging showcase where everybody just gets their best images that they took for the year and show it off to the group for the club's indoor meeting. So when is that going to be, Naveen, co-chair Naveen?
December. Give me a sec.
Right. So we're doing it every night?
December 13th, Friday.
Oh, yeah, Friday the 13th. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to everybody. Who wants to... Okay. So, all right. So, yeah, just keep that in mind, and that's where you guys can get together and show your stuff. Jeff, all your stuff looks nice, so you can pretty much post everything that you just showed us. So, yeah, it'd be nice if you could participate. And, yeah. So it's it's more than 3 months away, and well, no, today's the 19th. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, hopefully by then you'll have processed it to your liking.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll let you know how that goes.
But okay, so that's a wrap, and unless anybody has anything else to say. Nope. Okay.
All right.
Well, thanks for
Just
joining.
thanks for wonderful shares. That's all.
Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, have a
Thanks,
good night.
everyone.
Yeah.
Take care.
Thanks.